Ay, ka dyan, basta tayo na. Ay, nakakailan po. Last, verification na dito. So, agitan yung sa taas.
Dahil lang. Ano yung po ito? Mas kape. Sa ako, talaga kayo ba? Kape na ng tibo. Kisa na, sige.
Criteria, which is important for
Medyo di pa.
Hindi, susunod din ko. Hindi mo daw.
For opening prayer to be given by Engineer Nyala.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, as we start our activity today, we bring your presence with us. Speak your peace, your grace, your mercy, and your perfect order into our work. Acknowledge your power over all that will be done, spoken, thought, and decided within these walls. And Lord, I thank you for the gift you have blessed us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Before we start, may I request the Secretariat to call the roll of attendees and the declaration of quorum.
So, good morning, everyone. This pre-bid conference is being presided by our back chairperson, Engineer Christian George Spelling. And the following are the attendees for today's pre-bids. Back Vice Chairperson Bernard Zidoran, back regular members Ivan John Dian, Francis Daily Gutong, Allen Pimalikay, back provisional members John Carl Tambahuyot, Rex Impal, back TWG Head Ermi Pigumo, back TWG members Jenna M. Sugabo, J. Vincent Paling, Dennis Tumala, RCD Katipay, Rigel Kent Bicoy, Dixon Franz Pagdinawan, Jeff Doy Lungsod, Domina Dominic Nyala, Ernesto Rimulyo Jr., Back Secretariat Head, Elsa C. Madla, Back Secretariat Members, Danomeros Duran, Maria Between Bation, Gladys Marie Malikay, and yours truly, Golden Harris. Currently, we don't have any observers present, sir. So since all of the back members are present, we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Since the buck is in quorum, so this pre-bid conference is now called to order. So our agenda for today is the brief presentation for the basic contract data to be presented by Engineer Giancarlo Tambauyo.
Good morning. For FY 2025, Debt at Batch 1 Funded Infrastructure Projects, item number 1, 25RJ004 REIB, Capital Outlay Basic Educational Facilities Fund, Batch 1, Repair Rehabilitation of Classrooms, Candaping Elementary School, Maria Siquijor, appropriation of 8,471,231.16 pesos. ABC of 8.45 million with a contract duration of 120 calendar days. Major category BIR buildings repair. Physical target repair rehabilitation of 14 classrooms, 5 building. What's next? 25 RJ006 CIP Capital Outlay Basic Infrastructure Basic Educational Facilities Fund. Equip-
Small, yeah.
sige. For for the minimum major equipment requirements, one bagger mixer, wire 4 to 6 cubic feet per meter, wire cutter, per minute, sorry. Wire cutter, 25 mm maximum rebar diameter, grade 40, single phase. Bar bender, 25 mm diameter, maximum rebar diameter, 3 phase. Welding machine, gas or diesel driven, 500 amperes. Cutting outfit, truck mounted crane standards, lattice, boom, all models 21 to 25 metric tons. Plate compactor, 400 to 500 gasoline engine. Backhoe, HD 820, capacity of 0.8 cubic meters or 1.05 cubic yards. Dump truck, all models, 12 cubic yards. Jackhammer, 2 units. Dump truck, 2 units. Jackhammer, 2,000 watts, 2 units. Minor tools such as concrete vibrator and etc. 1 lot. For minimum work experience requirements, key personnel, project engineer, minimum years of similar experience, 7 years. Manager. Manager, sorry. Project engineer, same experience or position for 5 years. Materials engineer, 4 years of same position or experience, and foreman for 5 years of experience. Contract ID 25RJ006 your IB. Capital Outlay Basic Educational Facilities Fund, Batch 1. Construction of School Health Facilities Enrique Villanueva, Central Elementary School, Enrique Villanueva, Siquijor. Appropriation of 2,743,000. ABC of 2,736,000. Contract duration of 75 calendar days. Major category buildings construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, and physical target of 1 story construction of school health facilities. The scope of work of the project is all structural framing, masonry and perimeter walls and CR, all roofing works including ceilings, doors and windows, cemented flooring, cement plastering with paint on perimeter walls two sides, cement plastering with paint CR wall one side, electrical works and plumbing works. For minimum major equipment requirements, one bagger mixer, 4 to 6 cubic feet per minute, one unit, bar cutter, bar bender, welding machine, gas or diesel driven, 500 amperes, 2 units, cutting outfit, truck mounted crane with a capacity of 21 to 25 metric tons, 1 unit, plate compactor, backhoe with a capacity of 0.6 cubic meters or 1.05 cubic yards, 1 unit, dump truck all models, 12 cubic yards, 2 units, jackhammer, 2,000 watts, 2 units, minor tools such as concrete vibrator, etc., 1 block. Minimum work experience requirements, project manager, 7 years of similar position or experience, project engineer, 5 years, materials engineer, 4 years, and foreman, 5 years. For FY 2026 infrastructure projects, first item 26 RJ004601 ensure safe and reliable national road system, asset preservation program, rehabilitation, reconstruction, upgrading of damaged paved roads, secondary roads, circumferential road, kilometer 56 to kilometer 57, with an appropriation of 35,890,000 and ABC of 35,102,620 pesos. Contract duration of 148 calendar days. Major category RCP, road construction PCP. The work consists of concreting of road including earthwork, sub-base and base courses, surface courses, and miscellaneous structures, with a physical target of 1 kilometer or 2 lane kilometers. For minimum major equipment requirements, low bed trailer, 25 metric tons, backhoe with breaker, 0.8 to 1.505 cubic yards, payloader, 1.5 cubic meters, 2 units, dump truck all models, 12 cubic yards, 2 units, cold milling machine, with milling width of 1 meter, maximum depth of 300 mm, 1 unit, motorized road grader, 1 unit, bulldozer, 1 unit, vibratory roller, 10 cubic, 1 unit, water truck, 16,000 liters, 1 unit, transit mixer, all models, 5 cubic meters per minute, 4 units, concrete vibrator, flexible shaft, type 2, 2 units, concrete batch plan, 1 unit, concrete screeder, 1 unit, concrete saw, 14 inches blade diameter with 3/4 cutting depth, 1 unit, bar cutter 3-phase, joint sealer machine, applicator machine, knitting machine, survey equipment, and materials testing requirements. For minimum work experience requirements, project managers of 7 years of same position, project engineer of 5 years experience, materials engineer 4 years experience, and foreman 5 years experience. 26 RJ0047 ensure safe and reliable national road system, asset preservation program, rehabilitation and construction upgrade upgrading of damaged paved roads, tertiary roads, Luyang-Poo-Lazi Road, kilometer 12 plus 480 to kilometer 13. Appropriation of 17,052,000 pesos. ABC of 16,710,960 pesos. Contract duration of 102 calendar days. Major category RCP Road Construction PCP. The works consist of concreting of road including earthworks of base and base courses, surface courses, and miscellaneous structures. The physical target is 0.52 kilometers. Yes. For minimum major equipment requirements, low bed trailer, 1 unit, payloader, 2 units, dump truck, 2 units, cold milling machine, 1 unit, motorized road grader, 1 unit, bulldozer, 1 unit, vibratory roller, 1 unit, water truck, capacity of 16,000 liters, 1 unit, transit mixer, 4 units, concrete vibrator, 2 units, concrete batch plan, concrete screeder, concrete saw, wire cutter, joint sealer machine, cargo or service truck, all models, 2.5 metric tons, 1 unit, applicator machine, 100 kilograms, 1 unit, kneading machine, 1 unit, survey equipment and materials testing equipment. For minimum work experience requirements, project manager with a minimum years of similar experience of 7 years, project engineer 5 years, materials engineer 4 years, and foreman 5 years. Third item, 26RJ0048, ensure safe and reliable national road system, asset preservation program, rehabilitation and construction, upgrading of damaged paved roads, tertiary roads, Luyang-Poo-Lazi Road, kilometer 23 plus 269 to kilometer 23 plus 462. Appropriation of 6,272,000 and ABC of 6,146,560 pesos. Contract duration of 45 calendar days. Major category road construction PCP. The works consist of concreting of roads including earthwork, sub-base and base courses, surface courses, and miscellaneous structures. Physical target of 0.93 kilometers or 0.386 kilometers. For minimum major equipment requirements, low bed trailer, 1 unit, payloader, 2 units, dump truck, 2 units, cold milling machine, 1 unit, motorized road grader, 1 unit, bulldozer, 1 unit, vibratory roller, 1 unit, water truck or pump oil models, 1 unit, transit mixers, 4 units, concrete vibrator, 2 units, concrete batch plan, 1 unit, concrete screeder, 1 unit, concrete saw, 1 unit, wire cutter, 1 unit, joint sealer machine, 1 unit, cargo or service truck, 1 unit, applicator machine, 1 unit, kneading machine, 1 unit, survey equipment and materials testing equipment. For minimum work experience requirements, the personnel, the project manager, the required minimum years of similar experience is 7 years, project engineer 5 years, materials engineer 4 years, and foreman 5 years. The last item, 26RJ0049, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, Access Road, and bridges from the national road, including major or strategic buildings, facilities, rehabilitation of road Luyang-Poo-Lazi, Luzon, Tepuhong, Candaping, Siquijor, Barangay Luyang-Poo-Lazi, Siquijor. Segment 1, stationing 1 plus 566 to 1 plus 792. Segment 2, 1 plus 936 to station 3 plus 675. Appropriation of 98 million, APC of 97 million 20,000, and contract duration of 181 calendar days. Major category: roads construction PCCP. The works consist of concreting of roads, including earthworks, base and base courses, surface courses, bridge construction, drainage and slope protection works, and miscellaneous structures. Physical target of 1.962 kilometers or 3.393 lane kilometers. Minimum major equipment requirements: low bed trailer 1 unit, backhoe 1 unit, payloader 1 unit, dump truck 2 units, motorized road grader 1 unit, bulldozer 1 unit, vibratory roller 1 unit, water truck 1 unit, transit mixer 4 units, concrete vibrator 2 units, concrete batch plant 1 unit, concrete spreader 1 unit, concrete saw 1 unit, bar cutter 3-phase 1 unit, joint sealer machine 1 unit, applicator machine 2 to 5 minutes 1 unit, applicator machine 100 kilograms 1 unit, kneading machine 1 unit, telescopic mud lift 1 unit, book truck 1 unit, plate compactor 1 unit, bar cutter 1 unit, bar bender 1 unit, 1 bagger mixer 1 unit, chainsaw 1 unit, backhoe wheel mounted 1 unit, survey and materials testing equipment 1 lot. For minimum work experience requirements, for project manager, minimum years of similar experience 7 years, project engineer 5 years, material engineer 4 years, and foreman 5 years. Schedule of activities, procurement activities. Dropping of bids is on May 19, 2026 until 9:30 a.m. And opening of bid is on May 19 to 20.
Good morning. Requirements of bidding documents. Bidders shall submit their bids through their respective duly authorized representatives using the forms specified in the bidding documents in 2 separate sealed bid envelopes or in appropriate documents and file format or electronic bid submission as per relevant guidance, and which shall be submitted simultaneously. The first shall contain the technical component of the bid
including the eligibility requirements under Section 52 of this IRR. And the second shall contain the financial component of the bid. The bidder should note that the procuring entity shall only accept bids from the bidders that have purchased the bidding documents from the office indicated in the invitation to bid or have downloaded the bidding documents from the websites of DPWH and projects subject to the payment of the fee for the bidding documents upon submission of their bids. The bidding documents shall be attached in the technical proposal. A bid securing declaration is an undertaking which states, among others, that the bidder shall enter into contract with procuring entity and furnish the required performance security within 10 calendar days as indicated in the bidding documents from receipt of the notice of award in prescribed form. The DPWH shall post the complete set of bidding documents at its website, www.dpwh.gov.ph, and at PhilJIPS, www.philjips.gov.ph, for the general reference of the public for every contract to procure starting on the first day of advertisement of the invitation to bid. Any prospective bidder or other interested party may thus view or download the bidding documents from aforementioned websites. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically online. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. Similar to manual submission, and the guidelines for the preparation and submission of an electronic bid are contained in the bidding documents. The original copy of the bid form shall be typewritten or written in ink and shall be signed by the bidder or its duly authorized representative. Unsealed or unmarked bid envelopes, or in case of electronic bid submission, bidding documents not in compressed archive folders are not password protected shall be rejected. However, bid envelopes that are not properly sealed and marked or not properly compressed and password protected as required in the bidding document shall be accepted, provided that the bidder or its duly authorized representative shall acknowledge such condition of the bid as submitted. The bank shall assume no responsibility for misplaced or lost contents of improperly sealed or marked bid or improperly compressed or password protected folder or for its premature opening. The bidder shall submit one original of the Class A and Class B documents. Then the bidder that will be declared as LCRB shall submit 3 copies of each of the technical and financial components, proposals of its bid before the issuance of the notice of award.
Good morning. For documents to be submitted by the bidders, this comprising the technical and financial components. First, the checklist of technical documents. Technical component envelope, Class A documents. Legal documents, letter A, valid PhilJIPS registration certificate, platinum membership, all pages. Or letter B, registration certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, for sole proprietorship or cooperative development authority for cooperatives or its equivalent document. Letter C, mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or equivalent document for exclusive economic zones or areas. And letter D, tax clearance per EO number 398 series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. For technical documents, letter E, statement of prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract be bid. And letter F, statement of bidders single largest completed contract, similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules supported by final acceptance issued by the project owner other than contractor, for a final rating of at least satisfactory in constructor's performance evaluation system or CPS, or a similar performance and monitoring system, ATP, contract agreement and award. Letter G, contractor registration certificate. Letter H, Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board license, or special pickup license includes joint venture agreement in case of joint ventures, and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. And letter I, original copy and bid security in the prescribed form, amount, and validity period. If in the form of surety bond, submit also a class certification issued by the Insurance Commission, or original copy of notarized bid securing declaration. And letter G, technical specification and project requirements, which shall include the following. Letter A, organizational chart for the procurement project to be bid. Letter B, list of contractors, key personnel includes tax identification number and contact number. Sample the project manager, project engineer, material engineers, and foreman to be assigned to contract to be bid whether biodata with complete qualification and experience data, letter of nominee, key personnel certificate of employment, and last is the key personnel affidavit of commitment to work on the contract. For letter C, list of contractors, major equipment unit, which are on lease or under purchase agreements, supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor vendor for the duration of the project as the case may be. And letter D, ISO 91 5015 certification for large A, medium B, and medium A contractors. And letter K, original duly signed omnibus loan statement in accordance to section 54.3 of RA 120009 on standard format per GPPB resolution number 03-2025, and if applicable, original notarized secretary's certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the OSS and do acts to represent the bidder. Letter L, sworn affidavit of eligibility and beneficial ownership. Letter L, for foreign bidders claiming eligibility by reason of their country's extension of reciprocal rights of Filipinos, a certification from the relevant government office of their country stating that Filipinos are allowed to participate in their government procurement activities for the same item of product. For checklist of financial documents, letter H, a prospective bidder's audited financial statement showing, among others, the prospective bidder's total and current asset and liabilities stamp received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institution for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of submission. And letter O, the prospective bidder's competition of net financial contracting capacity or committed line of credit. For Class D document, there be, if applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement in accordance with RA number 4566 and its IRR in case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statement from all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide with the provision of the joint venture agreement in the event that the bid is successful. Number 3, for financial component envelope, the second bid envelope, or letter Q, original of duly signed and authorized financial bid form, and R, original of duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantities, and S, duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming with the bid, and letter E, cash flow by court.
Eligibility check. The BAC shall open the first envelopes, technical envelopes in public to determine each bidder's compliance with the documents required to be submitted for eligibility and for the technical requirements as prescribed in the said IRR. After opening the first envelope, the BAC shall simultaneously conduct the electronic eligibility check and preliminary examination of the technical components of the bids. The BAC shall first determine the eligibility of the prospective bidders in accordance with Section 52 of this IRR, and the initial technical proposals shall be evaluated using a pass or fail criterion to determine whether the same meet the minimum technical requirements of the procuring entity. For purposes of determining the eligibility of bidders using the criteria stated in Section 52.4 of this IRR, the back of a procuring entity shall use the contents of the valid and updated Field GIPS Certificate of Registration Platinum Membership pursuant to the requirements provided in Section 20 of this IRR. The BAC shall also require the submission of the following A statement of the bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started. B, SLCC and FCC, to ensure that the prospective bidder is technically and financially capable to undertake the procurement project. The bidder must have completed an SLCC that is similar to the procurement project to be bid and whose value adjusted to current prices using the PSA consumer price indices must be at least 50% of the ABC to be bid, provided that any change to the 50% requirement may be allowed, subject to the recommendation of the procuring entity, which shall be submitted to the GPPB for consideration. Provided further that contractors under small a and small b categories without similar experience on the procurement project to be bid may be allowed to bid if the cost of such contract is not more than the allowable range of contract cost of the registration based on the guidelines as prescribed by the people. For infrastructure projects, JV bidders shall submit a JVA in accordance with RA number 4566 or the contractor's license law and its IRR. Each partner of the joint venture shall submit their respective field trip certificate of registration in accordance with section 20.2.9.1 of this IRR. The submission of technical and financial eligibility documents by any of the joint venture partners constitutes compliance, provided that the partner responsible to submit the NFCC shall likewise submit the statement of all of its ongoing contracts. Electronic eligibility check shall be done by using the data and program in the DPWH Civil Works Application or CWA. Only the participating contractor who submits the original receipt for payment of the bidding documents for the contract issued by any DPWH field office will be considered by the procuring entity to be undertaken with the electronic eligibility evaluation. That's all.
Good morning. Criteria and procedure 8.2 preliminary submission of bids. Section 59 of the new Government Procurement Act of RA 12009 of its IR. Prior to bid evaluation, the BAC shall open the first envelope in the public to determine its bidder's compliance with the documents required to be submitted for the eligibility and technical requirements as prescribed in this IAR. For this purpose, the BAC shall check the submitted document of its bidder against checklist of the required documents to ascertain if they are all present using a non-discriminatory pass or fail criterion or as stated in the instructions to bidders. If a bidder submitted the required documents, it shall be rated pass for the particular requirement. In this regard, the bid should fail to include any requirement or are incomplete or patently insufficient shall be considered as failed. Otherwise, the BAC shall rate the first bid envelope as passed. Receipt of the scanned copies of the first bid envelope with the required forms prescribed in this IR, which are for online or electronic bid submission, shall be considered as compliant with the requirements of the said bid submission, subject to the submission of these original copies of the following: Tertiary, bid securing declaration or other forms of bid security, including cash, and B, omnibus sworn statement. C, sworn affidavit of eligibility and beneficial ownership. This form shall be submitted by the bidder during the post-qualification stage. The non-submission of these forms with the prescribed period shall be rendered the bid submission as non-compliant and shall result in the post-qualification of the bidder at post-disqualification of the bidder. Immediately after determining the compliance with the requirements in the first bid envelope, the BAC shall open the second bid envelope of its remaining eligible bidder whose technical proposal contained in the first envelope was rated pass. The second envelope of each compliant bidder shall be opened within the same day, except as provided earlier under section 58 and 62 of this IIR. In case of any of the requirement in the second envelope of the particular bid is missing, incomplete or patently insufficient, and or if the submitted total bid price exceeds the ABC, the BAC shall rate the bid concerned as failed. Only bid determines to contain all the bid requirements for both components shall be rated pass and immediately considered for evaluation and comparison. Receipt of the scanned copies of the second bid envelope with the required forms such as the duly signed bid form, price schedules, or other form described in this IAR or electronic or online bid submission shall be considered as compliant with the requirements of the said bid submission.
Good morning. For detailed evaluation and comparison of bids, Section 61 of the new Government Procurement Act (NGPA) of RA 12009 and its IIR. Procuring entities shall set a transparent methodology that outlines the data needed and calculation methodology to be used when conducting an LCCA or LCA, as may be applicable to ensure comparability and fairness among bidders. With due consideration of the significance of the potential environmental impacts, bidders' ability to provide the information requested for bid evaluation and feasibility of verifying compliance during contract implementation. Members of the BAC, its staff and personnel, Secretariat, and TWG, as well as observers, are prohibited from making or accepting any communication with any bidder regarding the evaluation of their bids until the issuance of the notice of award. However, the BAC, through its secretariat, may ask the bidder in writing for clarification of its bid. All responses to requests for clarification shall be in writing. The BAC shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria in considering the following. A. Completeness of the bid. Unless the instruction to bidders specifically allow partial bids, bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents, including, where applicable, bill of quantities shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. However, when no price or a zero or a dash is indicated in a required item in the bid form, the same shall be construed that it is being offered for free to the government, except those required by law or regulations to be provided for. And B. Arithmetical corrections. The BAC shall consider computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. It may also consider bid modifications if expressly allowed in the bidding documents. Any adjustment shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. In cases of discrepancies between bid prices in figures and in words, the latter shall prevail. Total price per item and unit price for the item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of that item, the latter shall prevail. Stated total price and the actual sum of prices of component items, the latter shall prevail. Unit costs in the detailed estimate and unit costs in the bill of quantities, the latter shall prevail. And amount in price schedule and in the bid form, the latter shall prevail. That's all.
Post-qualification of the lowest calculated bid. Section 63 of the new Government Procurement Act of RA 12009 and its IRR. The bidder on the LCB infrastructure projects or the HRB, in the case of consulting services, shall undergo post-qualification to determine whether the bidder concerned complies with and is responsive to all the requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents. During post-qualification, the BAC shall verify and validate the veracity, authenticity, and validity of all the eligibility documents supporting the Pilgrim's Certificate of Registration, Platinum Membership, and all the other statements made and documents submitted by the bidders with the LCB using non-discretionary criteria as stated in the bidding documents. These criteria shall consider, but shall not be limited to the following: 30 legal requirements to verify, validate, and certain licenses, certificate, permits, and agreements submitted by the bidders, and the fact that it is not included in any blacklist as provided in Section 54 of this IRR. For this purpose, the GPBB shall maintain a portal which contains the consolidated file of all blacklisted suppliers, contractors, and consultants. SRB technical requirements to verify and validate the bidder's stated compliance with the requirements specified in the bidding document. Letter C. Financial requirements to verify and validate the bid price proposal of the bidder and whether applicable, the required committed line of credit in the amount specified and over the period stipulated in the bidding document. For the bidder's NFCC to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of the transaction. If the bank determines that the bidder with the LCB passes all the criteria for post-qualification, it shall declare the said bid as the LCRB and recommend to the hope the award of contracts to the said bidder at its submitted bid price or its completed bid price, whichever is lower. If, however, the bank determines that the bidder with the LCB fails the criteria for post-qualification, it shall immediately notify the said bidder in writing of its post-disqualification and the grounds for it. The post-qualification process shall be completed in not more than 12 calendar days from the determination of the LCB.
Good morning once again. I'm going to discuss about the criteria and procedure for the award to the bidder with the lowest calculated responsive bid. Pursuant to Section 66 of the new Government Procurement Act of RA 12009 and its IRR. The bank shall recommend to the host the award of the contract to the bidder with the LCRB after the post-qualification process has been completed. Within 3 calendar days from the issuance of the resolution recommending award of contract, the bank shall notify all other bidders in writing of its recommendation. Within a period not exceeding 10 calendar days from the determination and declaration through a resolution by the bank of the LCRB, the host or its duly authorized representative shall approve or disapprove the said recommendation. In case of approval, the host or its duly authorized representative shall immediately issue the notice of award to the bidder with the LCRB. Prior to the expiration of the period of bid validity, the procuring entity shall notify the successful bidder in writing that its bid has been accepted through a notice of award duly received by the bidder or its authorized representative, personally or by registered mail or electronically. Receipt of which must be confirmed in writing within 2 days by the bidder with the HRRB and submitted personally or sent by registered mail or electronically to the procuring entity. Within 10 calendar days from receipt by the winning bidder of the notice of award, the following conditions should be complied with before the contract may be awarded. A. Submission of the following documents. Number 1, valid joint venture agreement if applicable, or SEC certificate of registration of the foreign corporation, or the SEC certificate of registration of the foreign consulting firm, and or the authorization or license issued by the appropriate government agency or professional regulatory body of the foreign professionals engaging in the practice of regulated professions and allied professions where applicable. B. posting of the performance security in accordance with ITB Clause 33, and C, signing of the contract as provided in ITB Clause 32.
Clarification or amendment of bidding documents through bid bulletins. Section 51.5 of the new Government Procurement Act of RA 12009 and its IRR. Request for clarifications on any part of the bidding documents or for an interpretation must be in writing and submitted to the back of the procuring entity concerned at least 10 calendar days before the deadline set for the submission and receipt of bids. The back shall respond to the said request by issuing a bid bulletin duly signed by the back chairperson to be made available to all those who have properly secured the bidding documents at least 7 calendar days before the deadline for submission and receipt of bids. For purposes of clarifying or modifying any provision of the bidding documents, bid bulletins may be issued upon the procuring entity's initiative at least 7 calendar days before the deadline of the submission and receipt of bids. Any modification to the bidding documents shall be identified as an amendment. Any bid bulletin issued by the BAC shall also be posted in the field jobs in any conspicuous place in the premises of the procuring entity and on the website or social media platforms of the procuring entity if available, or such other channels as may be authorized by the GPPB. It shall be the responsibility of all those who have properly secured the bidding documents to inquire and secure bid bulletins that may be issued by the bank. However, bidders who have submitted bids before the issuance of the bid bulletin must be informed and allowed to modify or withdraw their bids in accordance with Section 55 of this IRR.
Okay, do we have any questions or comments from interested bidders? Okay, since there is none, so this ends the private conference. Do you have any motion to adjourn? Once moved and scanned, the private conference is adjourned. Thank you and good morning, everyone.